Boom. Welcome back to part 3 of the 9-part series, Pin Tumbler Mastery. In today's episode, Tools and Setup Before Picking, I'm going to go over the bare minimum tools that you need to get into the lockpicking sport. So, what you'll learn in this episode: top versus bottom of the keyway tension, hook profiles and when to use them, why tension is 90% of picking, and how to hold the tools for maximum feedback. So once you become interested in the sport of lockpicking, you start going online, you start to look at magazines, companies that sell lockpicking tools and picks and rakes and tension tools. You can get absolutely overwhelmed. There's a tremendous amount of stuff out there. However, to get into the sport, you really don't need that much. You just need a couple simple tools. So here we have an assortment of stuff. Okay, the two most important tools that you need to get into lock picking are tension tools and picks. Okay, these here are rakes. When you're first entering into the sport, I do not recommend using rakes, because we'll talk about it later, but rakes are purely chance. You can test locks out with a rake, but if you rake a lock open, you didn't solve a puzzle, you won the lottery, so to speak. So to get into the sport of lock picking, there's two tools you must have. You must have a tension tool and you must have a pick, and we're going to go over each. So what we're going to go over first is the tension tool, and like I stated earlier, the tension tool is 90% of picking, because the tension tool is what you get all your feedback from the lock when you're picking it. Without feedback, you have no idea what's going on. So let me go over the different types of tension tools. Okay, so here's an adjustable tension tool. Is this needed? No. Is it nice? Yes, but it's not needed to start. Okay, we have a couple different types of top and bottom. And as you hear me say top and bottom, you're starting to understand that it's important to choose correctly a top or a bottom tension tool. If tension is 90% of picking, you want to make the best choice on that. So here's another type of tension tool that does top and bottom. Okay, these are pretty nice. Do you need this to start picking? No. Does it make some picks easier? Yes, but it's not needed. Here's another type of top and bottom tension tool. Okay. Why I'm saying I don't recommend these at first is because they don't work on all locks. We're quickly coming down to two different types. Alright, so let's look at this one first. Okay, very standard. There's a twist in it right here. But the problem with a tension tool like this one isn't too bad because it's sprung steel. However, if 90% of picking is feedback and I'm getting that feedback from feel on my finger, this being springy like that will dampen the feedback. So these tension tools are pretty good. I really enjoy these. So this portion actually goes into the keyway, and this portion right here is like a stop or a gauge that prevents the tension tool from going deeper into the keyway. Are these good? Yes. Do you need to spend money on these specific ones? No. So now we're getting down into what I kind of recommend for beginner pickers. And these I believe I made some of these out of windshield wiper, the rods inside windshield wipers. So what do we have here is a very shallow depth tension tool on one end and a deeper one on the other, and they're different sizes. Okay, so yep, you're absolutely right. There's a twist here. So what this does, this gives me the option to have something like that in a specific situation, but where I use this one most is right here. I'll put this in the top of the keyway, right next to the pin, and when it's in there, all that feedback from that plug and those pins, I'm feeling it in this finger right here, because there's no the feedback isn't dissipated in a sprung steel. Okay, so what exactly does a tension tool do? Well, it controls the feedback, okay, and it allows the pick or the picker to identify which pins are binding. I can stick this pin in here like this and go up and down on pins, and none of them will bind because the lock's not designed to bind without tension. Okay, so as soon as I put a tension tool in here and I put a little rotational tension here, this plug is going to turn until the pins in here prevent it from turning in the plug chamber. Okay, so right now there's no binding. I turn it until I can't turn it anymore, and somewhere in here there's a pin that's binding. Okay, and my job is to go in there and find out which one is binding and lift it until the key pin is at the shear line. This will turn just a little bit, and then the next pin will bind. Okay, that is the importance of the tension tool. So, top of the keyway versus bottom of the keyway. So, in the United States, the majority of door locks are installed like this, with the pins on top. Okay, that's why when we talk top of the keyway, we're talking about putting the tension tool up here on top. Okay, and also why when we talk bottom of the keyway, we're talking about putting tension tools down here. Does it really matter what they're called? No. What matters is that you're placing the tension tool in the spot that gives you the greatest amount of access to the pins in the keyway. Okay, so with a tension tool, the correct thickness, like the actual thickness of this metal here, is very important. Typically, you want the thickest tension tool you can that fits into the keyway easily and that doesn't interact with the pin. Okay, so what that does, that gives less movement of that tension tool inside that keyway. How do I control a tension tool? Okay, with the padlock, when I'm picking with a padlock on my hand, I just go like, that's how I do it. Okay, and all of the feedback travels along this tension tool, and I pick it up in this finger right here. Okay, when you're tensioning, whether it's in your hand or even in the vise, I always try to have contact with either the vise. I try to have contact with the lock. If I can't have it with the lock, I'll have it with the vise. So when there is feedback, it's just easier to pick up if you're referencing your hand on the lock where the feedback is coming from, and then the movement out here. And the farther your finger is away from the pin, the more feedback you're going to perceive or feel. Okay, the next thing you'll need after a tension wrench is a single pin hook pick. Okay, here's an example of several different types. You have deep hooks, you have half diamonds. There's many different types of hooks. However, for just getting into the sport, this is what I suggest. I suggest like these 4 hooks. You have a shallow hook, you have pretty much a straight hook, and then you have a deeper hook. And then here you have a very thin hook. And this thin hook has a deep side and a shallower side. Why do you need different depths of hooks? So let's say this is the inside of a lock. Okay. You have the plug down here, you have the housing up here, and the key would come in here, and it would lift the key pins, it would lift the driver pins, compressing the spring. Okay, so if you see there's the different lengths of key pins, all of the driver pins are the same. So if I insert my pick with tension into the keyway, I will pin 1. I'll see if there's tension. Yes, there's tension, so I'm going to lift it, and I'll lift, lift, lift. Boom. As soon as I get this shear line, I'll get feedback from my tension tool, and the plug will rotate just slightly. Next, I come in, I identify pin number 2, I lift, 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 lift. Okay. All right, so far so good. I'm at shear line at 2 pins. Okay. Let's say right here, I don't get any tension. So this comes back down. And so there's no tension, no binding, and I don't get any binding. So there's no binding on pin 3. I'll go to pin 4, there's nothing. And then I go to pin 5, there is tension. But as I come down here, all of a sudden, I get to, I can't get it down to the shear line without disrupting pin 1 and 2. So that is why I get a deeper set, a deeper hooked pin, and I can come in here and I can get it to shear line without interrupting pin 1 and 2. So I come back over and I start at pin 1, still set, pin 2 still set. I set number 3, and then on pin number 4, there is resistance, and I lift pin number 4 to get it to shear line, and all of a sudden the lock will, all the pins are at shear line right here. Let me get the shear line. They're all at shear line. They're all at shear line, and the lock opens. And as you can see, with a shallower hook, I just can't get to them all without disrupting the other pins. So I'll need a deeper hook. I like that. And that's why you have different hook depths. So 80% of the picking, the single pin tumbler picking that I do, I will use these 3 picks. Okay, I have a nearly straight, I have a deep, very thin deep, I have a medium, and then I have a shallow. And 80% of the times I can get into the lock using these. And that's another reason why I colored them, so I can pick them out of my kit very easily. And it makes it more efficient. So other nice to have things. Do you need them? No. Are they nice? Yes. You can have these clear plastic locks, and what they do, it just kind of shows you what's going on in the mechanics of the lock while you're picking it. Okay, do you need these? No. Now, I recommend these just for a visual reference, but I don't recommend practice picking them, because the reality is these plastic acrylic locks do not pick like a real lock. They don't pick like a real lock, and you can pick up some very bad habits from them. Okay, so now we have cutaways. Cutaways are of actual locks that someone has cut away to see the internal workings of them. Okay, and these are actually really good, because you can see what's going on with the lock as you manipulate it and as you're picking it. Do you need these? No. Are they nice to have? Yes. So how do I choose what pick I'm going to use? First, it's the keyway tells me a lot. As the space in here diminishes, I start to get a smaller and smaller pick. How do I graduate through these? So I will start with the shallowest pick that I think I can use, and I will work that lock until I just know that I'm oversetting pins that I've already set, and then I'll go to a deeper pick. And I'll go to a deeper pick, and if I still feel that I'm oversetting, I'll go to a deeper one. But I start with the shallowest lock and then graduate into deeper and deeper locks, deeper and deeper picks. And what I mean by deeper and deeper picks is this curvature right here. So I'll start with the shallower one first and then graduate up. So how do you hold a pick? Okay, hold a pick, I hold a pick like a pencil. Well, this is how I hold the pick. Okay, when I'm lifting a pin, there's two ways to do it. I can grab it and grab it down and pull it down. Okay, there's a chance of oversetting it at that point, or I can grab a pin and then use a warding or that tension tool as a fulcrum to lift that pin right like that. So let's put it all together. All right, I have my tension tool. I'm going to go to the top of the keyway tensioning because of this keyway here and just how the keyway set up. So the top of the keyway, remember, is on the end that has the pins. So I'm going to use a very short tension tool. This is how I hold the lock when I'm lock picking in my hand, and then I'll hold my pick right like this, and what I'll do is I will index the lock with one of my fingers as I'm inserting it. I will index the lock with one of my fingers as I'm inserting in the keyway so I can control how deep it is and how much downward force I'm going. Now, if I can use one of these wards as a fulcrum, absolutely, I'll do that, and I'll use it as a fulcrum right there. We'll go into the actual picking in a future episode. I'm just talking about the tools right now and how I hold them. Okay, holding a lock in a vise. Do you need a vise? Absolutely not. So when I'm using a vise, what I'll do is I'll put the tension tool in right like this. I'll still have my hand on the lock so I can get as much feedback as possible. My finger will be away from the plug as far as possible so I can have the greatest benefit of feeling that feedback. And I'll do the same thing as if it was in my hand. You see that setup is very similar. So in summary, having the right equipment will increase your chance of success in lock picking, and then you'll have that much more enjoyment in the lock picking sport. Okay, well, that's all I have for you today, and next episode, part 4, is going to be finding that binder. We're going to take everything that we've learned up to this point and we're going to apply it, and we're actually going to start picking some pins. All right, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.